Hello. I was a federal worker who had 1 month left of her probationary period, and today I was told that I was terminated at some point this week. I'm utterly devastated. I'm confused because my recent performance evaluation was exceptional and I got upwards of $1,500 as a bonus because my performance was so good. And this was my dream job, and it's just being taken away by an administration who doesn't care about science. It doesn't care about people who might be homeless with their dog now. They don't care about our species that we're trying to conserve. That's exactly what my job was doing. It was just to assess habitat conservation for species for a 55-year habitat conservation plan. We should all be so mad right now. We should all be crying like this because I'm just devastated.
So the actor from Shazam, who is a Trump supporter, went on Fox News last night to plead with Elon Musk not to fire any Trump supporters from the federal workforce. Here is what Zachary Levi said to Jesse Waters last night on primetime. Quote, "DOGE is complicated, ... There are good people that voted for Donald Trump who are losing their job, ... We gotta make sure that we don't leave those folks behind," end quote. Sorry, Shazam, but that's not how this works. The good people who are being left behind are those who voted against Donald Trump, who were trying to warn their fellow MAGA employees that this would happen if Donald Trump got elected. Those are the people who don't deserve to lose their jobs. But as for the Trump supporters who are now getting fired as a result of Elon Musk's DOGE, they effed around at the ballot box, and now they're finding out.
Hey Elon, DOGE, I got some big news. I just found some potentially massive fraud. Oh wait, it looks like it's from you. So the DOGE team has promised for a while that they were going to put up examples of the spending that they had cut and the savings that they had brought Americans.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. As you know, this is presenter Gene DOGE, and yet with another more contemporary video about what is really happening in the United States. You could see that there are a couple of people today that are getting out there complaining how they are losing their jobs. But what if we took 2 months back? Do you think they would have made the same decision they made? Just tell me. And no, this video, I'm not doing it for the people that they voted for. Actually, the reason as to why I'm doing this video is because I'm trying to weigh the magnitude, the things that black folks have gone through this country, United States. Listen, black folks have gone through this for decades and decades and decades and decades, for many years, but I didn't see it being televised as it is being televised today. There's so many people complaining about job loss. There's so many people complaining about prices of groceries, but you all didn't give black folks a chance to get a job. They were overqualified, but you still didn't give them the job. Also, I saw a lady trying to cry about being overqualified, yet she was still fired. Tell me if this is not something similar to what black folks have been going through. You being overqualified for the job that you're doing, but again, you are the one who is fired when people are starting to be removed from the job. So let me know what you think about this. I want to know, because black folks have been surviving this. There's so many things that were promised. Social security, that didn't happen. People voted for economy. Why is the economy heading to? So there's so many things, and I feel like these things black people have lived in their life, and what they're saying is nothing new. So let us watch the video. I'll be back with my commentary. As usually, this is a presenter Gene DOGE. If you're watching for the first time, I'll most definitely ask you to subscribe to our channel, join our membership, and really get to see what we can offer you. But until then, I hope to see you in my next video. Let's watch. Come back with a commentary about it.
On their website. So they finally put up their first example, and you got to check this out. This post is from Jamie Dupree. He writes, the DOGE team is finally posting examples of where they've cut spending. This one claims $8 billion in savings. You can see the $8 billion in big numbers right over there. But if you look at the fine print in the upper right, it's a contract that is instead valued at $8 million. Let me just zoom in for you so you could see what it actually reads on the contract, $8 million. And by the way, that's a ceiling. That's the most that the contract could potentially be valued. It also looks like this is a multi-year contract. But here's where the fraud comes in. So when journalists pointed this out, it appears that DOGE tried to cook the books in order to change the actual numbers. Jamie Dupree followed up writing, "The top is what it looked like a few hours ago. Now someone has gone in and changed 8 million to 8 billion in the FPDS system. Also, the dates are now different." And you could see here that magically that $8 million is now $8 billion. Then when DOGE was called out for that, they changed the website to remove the screenshot entirely. Now, first off, this should have been apparent that this was BS on its face. What small business is possibly getting $8 billion from the government? But we thought, you know what, let's investigate this. Let's reach out to the company and see what they have to say. Is DOGE lying about this? So guess what? We did. So here's what the company told us. D&G Support Services, doing business as D&G Solutions, acknowledges that the previously reported contract value of $8 billion was incorrect. This discrepancy appears to have resulted from a clerical error in the original government filing upon contract award. The contract value had a ceiling, $8 million. D&G is proud to maintain long-term contracts with the federal government, providing integrated logistics and supply chain solutions. We remain committed to excellence and a one-team, one-fight approach to our customers, their missions, and our country. So it's becoming very obvious right now that DOGE's supposed savings are all kind of total BS. Meanwhile, these small businesses are getting screwed, people are losing their jobs, also that Elon Musk could try to free up some money to give billionaires a $4.5 trillion tax cut.
Morning, everybody. I hope everybody's had a nice weekend. They had a good Valentine's Day, good long weekend. I made a video a few days ago, asking why there seemed to be so much anger directed towards federal employees and why so many people seem to be almost celebrating their being fired. And several people in those comments asked me if I could do a follow-up video if I got any real answers. And I did, amongst a bunch of other ones that weren't. Short answer is this: there seems to be a lot of people who believe there's bloat and waste in the government, and that firing of federal employees is going to fix that. It's going to help with that. It's not going to fix it, but it's going to help with that. But the problem is that it doesn't actually help a ton, because their salaries don't make up but a small part of our budget. Then not an answer, but providing more context. There's a lot of people that seem to be conflating or confusing federal employees with congressional offices or politicians, like Congress and federal employees all being the same thing. And that's not what this is. We're talking about people who work for our government that don't work for Congress, that work, and they work all over the country. They work all over our country. They work in your national park. They work, as doctors and nurses. They work for the Veterans Affairs. They do all kinds of really important work. They work for the FBI. They do, whatever. And those are not the same thing as congressional offices. So basically, we need to listen better, I think, is more what it is. And we need to unite ourselves rather than trying to be so angry at each other and be angrier at the people who aren't giving us correct information. And I think that's a huge part of it. So anyway, so there it is. There's a lot of people who think that there's bloat and waste in the government. And there is. And I don't think any federal employee would disagree with that, honestly. I think most federal employees would say, yes, there are ways that we need to change things. And yes, there are things that we could cut and whatever else. But they're cutting the employees themselves isn't actually going to help. It's not going to help enough. It's not going to help very much at all. All right. Thanks, y'all. Have a great day. Bye.
I am so freaking pissed off right now. I just left my DHS office. I had a review because somebody else has reported me to my caseworker to the state of Michigan because I get over $4,000 in food stamps. I get almost $2,000 in cash benefits. And because I am making money on TikTok, they don't believe I should be able to get welfare. Well, come to find out, if you own a home or own any type of property, you are supposed to report that to your caseworker because they take that into consideration. So because we own our own home and because we own 3 vehicles, they are now taking everything away unless I sell all my assets. So if you own any assets and you receive welfare, You might want to report it or you're going to get cut off. So I either have to sell my home and my vehicles or lose my benefits. And that is not fucking fair. That is not fair. So you're saying to receive benefits, I can't have nice things. Those are my benefits. Mine. I should be able to have nice things.
Hey, I'm gonna do you a solid right now, okay? I really want you to send them this video, alright? Alright, just send this to them, alright? They thought they were climbing out of that bucket, didn't they? Turns out we're all fucking crabs, bitch. We're all crabs, and this water's getting slowly hotter and hotter. They voted for him in absence of fact, in defiance of fact. They sought out alternative information that supported their bias. But what was the bias? Why were they so goddamn inclined to Donald Trump? Why did they fall prey to him? It's bigotry. Yeah, they have a latent superiority bias. They think they are the exceptions and they will be spared. No, my friends, you are actually victims alongside the rest of us. The people you thought you were targeting, you actually turned that on yourself. Point the finger, how many are pointing back at you? Oh yeah, maybe next time you will take your arrogance down a notch. Maybe next time you'll listen to the people who are the most victimized and pay attention to what they say and not fall prey to propaganda about wokeness when you don't even fucking know what the word means. Let me outline it for you. It just means aware of the social inequities and disparities that exist in our culture. Ones that are about to become painfully obvious to you too, you cunts. But see, here's the thing. We are what they made us. We're not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with us. Yeah. Try getting that trust back. Ooh, that's not happening. So while you're starving to death without your Social Security, I just want you all, both of you, to remember that we had this conversation and that you get no sympathy from us. None. Because you were so blatantly self-absorbed. So selfish, so arrogant, you get nothing. You get to starve. Cheers! And maybe in a few years, when things really get shitty, maybe then, someone on our side will go, oh, you know, I've realized I want to be a bigger person than I can afford to be, so maybe I'll help some folks out. But I'm going to prioritize my help for the people who need it the most. That being the people who are going to be the most victimized by this whole thing that you've caused. So I'm going to prioritize my help to people like trans folks, brown folks. Yeah, you're last on the list. These are the consequences of your actions.
This is for all of the MAGA folk who are crying right now because they've been fired. Why are you doing that? I honestly don't understand why. You voted for this. This is exactly what you wanted. This is exactly what he said he was going to do. They even had a handbook. Project 2025. You know, the thing that you didn't believe was a thing? The thing that he said he wasn't associated with, so you just believed him for some reason, even though many of the people around him is associated with that in one way or another, but you were just like, nope. King Cheeto said he's not associated with it. He must not be. How do you feel about that now? How do you feel about that now? Great again? Doesn't look like it.
So my MAGA mom, who watches Fox News nonstop, had her find out moment on Valentine's Day. She doesn't get out much. She has a lot of health problems, but she got herself together and they were going to go out to dinner at their favorite Mexican restaurant in town. However, when they got there, apparently it's been shut down for good. Shut down. So I said to her, because I know they were all Hispanic, and I know they all came from Mexico because the owner was extremely wealthy and he would go back from time to time to Mexico. It was a restaurant we'd gone out to, I'm going to go 30 years, you know, love it, excellent food. And I said, you think it had anything to do with the fact that they were Hispanic and from Mexico?
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there is no scenario in which the deconstruction of America plays out where it does not hurt us as people. There is not a scenario in which this plays out where any good comes from it. This will, mark my words, it will end with war. Whether or not that is a class war, whether or not that is a civil war, or whether or not that is us overthrowing an authoritarian government, it will end badly. So we need to prepare. We need to decide, are we going to take care of their problem and just each other? Or are we going to come together and them? Because at this point, we're out of options. Yeah, we can take back the house in April. We might not have till April. Like, I feel like everybody knows how, well, not everybody apparently, but I feel like those of us who know how bad this is, know how bad this is. But like at the same time, we're almost in denial. Like, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen as fast as we think it is. Yes, the fuck it is. So we need to prepare. We need to plan, because at some point they are going to cut the internet. They are going to cut the power. They are going to take away our forms of communication, of planning and establishing. And when that happens, we need to take to the streets. We need to shut this shit down. Because if every single person, or at least 75% of Americans, if we all come together and we're in the fucking streets, what are they gonna do? No one's working, no one's spending money, no one is lining their fucking pockets. So just know that this is going to end in war. This is not going to end well. And we need to come together as Americans. I don't care if you're black, I don't care if you're white, I don't care if you're tan, I don't give a fuck if you are a trans individual or a gay individual. We are people, we are Americans, and we have to come together, because this shit is not going to end good for anybody. Even if you are on the wrong side of history right now, this shit will not end well for you. So, get it the fuck together. Let's come up with a plan, because I feel like people are still excited about summer. They're like, ooh, summer's coming. No, it's not. Like, in the words of Game of Thrones, winter is coming. Even though it's fucking winter right now, I hope you get the point. Because it's not like we're all just going to be out here on the beach this summer. Like, we're all going to be fighting for our goddamn freedom. We're all going to be fighting for our rights. We are all going to be fighting for a better world for our kids to grow up in. And it sucks, because I really feel like at the heart of it, we all want similar things. Y'all just want to control everybody else and make them believe all the way you do, and we just want people to exist and be their authentic selves. But at the end of the day, I think that we all want a better and safer world for our children to grow up in. And right now, with the authoritarian takeover that's happening, the coup that is happening, that y'all are denying, we will never get there. And I don't know about you, but I want my 5-year-old to grow up, period. In a world where he is not discriminated against or treated less than because he has the most beautiful skin complexion ever. So, class war, civil war, or overthrowing the government. Let's do this.
I'm going to say this as former MAGA, someone that knows it better than anybody else. I spent 4 fucking years defending that asshole in the Oval Office. You want to know how you beat them, how we beat them, how we tear these fascists down? Stop making them comfortable. You make them as uncomfortable as possible. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. What happened 6 years ago today? Some crazy kid, some crazy 19-year-old walked onto the campus of Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School and killed 17 beautiful souls. 17 innocent people on Valentine's Day. And every time these mass shootings would happen, I felt this feeling in my mind like, oh my God, it is the guns, because nobody else has this problem. But I didn't want to admit it, but there's a part of me, like in my subconscious, that was like, this really is the guns. And it would make me so goddamn uncomfortable. It would make me so uncomfortable to the point where I wish they would not talk about it, but we need to talk about it, okay? Because if it was up to us, okay, Nicholas Cruz wasn't 21, shouldn't have had a rifle. We support that. AR-15s banned. Nobody should be able to own one. Red flag laws, which I think actually have in Florida now. I'm not 100% sure, but we support those. There were red flags. There were serious mental health issues. The police came to his house many times. Guys, he should not have had access to a firearm. And if you're a Democrat, it's not your fault. It is purely the Republicans' fault. And that is why I'm saying you need to make them feel uncomfortable. You cannot make them feel comfortable. You cannot give them an ounce of comfort. I'm not saying be violent, but make them feel uncomfortable. Confront them with the facts. I'm going to give you another one that always used to make me feel uncomfortable when I was a conservative. It's something that someone posted in my comments the other day, and that was that Republicans will love you when you're a fetus, but hate you when you are born. And we're talking about the fact that the Republicans are literally proposing cutting the Medicaid program. Medicaid is what orphans depend on. Orphans. This is why I say such brash statements that MAGA do not like black people, or that MAGA do not like poor people, or they don't like gay people, because they are getting rid of programs that these people depend on. That is why we tell them to their face, you don't like black people, do you? Like, you're not a fan. We can't make them comfortable. That is the last thing we should be doing. And again, I'm not saying be violent. I'm saying make them feel uncomfortable. Make them want to crawl out of their skin with these facts. Because deep down inside, they know. At least a conscious one. Someone who has help, like someone who can be helped, they know. Trust me, that was me. Okay? Make them uncomfortable. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Share this. And share it with your friends. And that'll tell them.
Good morning, friends. This is Aaron Stone. To anyone who's listening, to anyone who cares, this message is for those who serve at the behest of the president, who's now considered a clear and present danger by the Canadian government and by the European nations. It's time you turn your back. If you work the gates, it's time you turn your back. If you turn on the lights, it's time to turn them off. If you serve food, it's time to walk out. If you drive him anywhere, it's time to throw away the keys. If you fly him anywhere, it's time to land the plane. It's time, if you're a sniper, to turn your rifle and put it down. Because whatever you were serving, whatever you were think you were serving, whether you're a Republican or Democrat, I'm pretty sure you didn't expect us to want to invade our allies on the whim of a psychotic. He's a clear and present danger. And sadly, sometimes the end justifies the means. And the end is hopefully to win back democracy, to win back our freedom, to win back normalcy. If you're in the military, I have no idea, I have no concept of the pain and suffering that you've gone through. I can only imagine what it's like to take directions from a psychotic as well as an alcoholic who doesn't deserve to be in his position. You have a mission. Your mission was to protect us from all terrorists, to protect us, to really understand that those people that gave their lives for this country didn't do it to protect the life of a despot. You know your mission. You know what you need to do. It's sad that it's come to this. But laws don't matter. Rules don't matter. We have a despot. And it's up to those that are within the power to turn their back, and for those who still have some power to become a hero. History's watching. The world is watching. We need a hero. This is Aaron Stone. Please spread this message. If you work in the government, please turn around. And if you know anyone who works in the government, make sure they see this. This is no longer a joke. We can't wait for the feckless politicians, Democrats or Republicans. They're fearful. Everyone's fearful. It's time. It's time.
I think Zelenskyy has just played Trump. I might be wrong, but I think he has. I think by going out there and saying that Trump is living in a disinformation space has baited Trump to then come back and react like Trump does with a war of words, accusing Zelenskyy of being a dictator and saying, frankly, ridiculous things. What does this achieve? It means that the US can absolutely not be a mediator in peace talks because it is being openly hostile with one of the parties. And that means all of Trump's plans in order to portray himself as the big third party who can come in and make a deal, he's blown it himself because he got baited into a war of words and everyone sees that he is actually on one side. And that means that it essentially is going to have to pull in other parties like Europe, like China, the States still, but the dynamics are totally different now. And Zelenskyy stood up to him and called him out. And Zelenskyy will also know that Democrats and Republicans alike within the US power structures think that the US should be supporting Ukraine to reestablish its sovereignty. So by baiting Trump out even further means that Trump is going to be in a mess with his own party at home. So it's a ballsy move, but at the same time, Zelenskyy didn't have much to lose after Trump made it pretty clear that he was just going to be echoing Russian disinformation and trying to get at Ukraine's resources. And in fact, this, I believe, and I thought this before I saw this war of words, I thought Russia had already messed up by being too effective with Donald Trump and implanting their thinking into Donald Trump too strongly, so it looks like the man is completely captured rather than coming to it from a different angle. So I think Russia have messed up and Trump has messed up, and Zelenskyy has put down a strong hand, and now the game just changes because it's not going to be on the terms that Trump was hoping to make it on.
Dear Americans, let me ask you a question. This is your favorite German fool speaking again. Don't forget to follow me. And this question doesn't come from anger, or it is a kind of, resentment, but is the I didn't vote for Trump, is that the new I didn't vote for Schmittler, like German people said after the war? When Adolf Schicklgruber came to power in 1933, this happened by election. And the Schmatzis, they still were a minority, but they were a brutal and loud and ruthless minority. And many people even made fun of him. And the vast majority, they just didn't care. So it happened. And things changed quickly, as we all know. Nobody expected this man would be in office for a long time. Everybody expected that, he would be gone in a couple of months. But once again, we all know how this ended. And this is why I ask you this question, because in some time your kids and your grandkids will come to you and ask you, where were you when all this happened? What did you do? Which side were you on? And you will have to explain this. And this is going to be really hard for you. Because what I see right now is, like in Germany at that time, a lot of people complying. And that's the biggest problem. It's not being against or for this, it's just silently complying. Where are the marches, the demonstrations, the rallies? I'm talking about these big things, not some people standing around somewhere. Where are they? I didn't see that during the election period, and I don't see it now. Just feeling bad or feeling ashamed, this doesn't change nothing. And silently complying, this doesn't change anything.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I just hope that you are super great. First of all, I don't like this topic. Yes, because it seems like you're trying to laugh at people who are going through some things, but at the end of the day, I have to step in and say something later. Listen, people look like me in the United States. I've been going through this. This is just what you're doing is just minutes of thousands of the lives that they've been living, their ancestors have been living. But right now, what I'm seeing, people breaking down, people crying, and all craziness. I don't take it for granted because it's happening to you. It's something that is uncalled for. But I'm trying to measure the magnitude of the suffering that my people who look like me in the United States have gone through. Now, more of these things that happen, it is more of the decisions that people made. When people voted, they voted for fascism, they voted for bigotry, they voted for job losses, they voted for all these. The same black folks that have been going through this system, they're the ones who tried to warn you, but you couldn't listen. And right, it happened on your face. And that's what happened. Honestly, I will say that I'm sorry for those people who have lost their jobs. I know it's not something to celebrate, but at the end of the day, you need to learn from the mistakes that you're making. I believe Americans, especially 70% of the white Americans that did what they did, next time they're going to be making the right decisions in what they're trying to do. So I think it's a wake up for all white folks who, decided to do what they did. And I have a couple of comments in regards to this that people also still try to talk about. The first thing that a person said, it is shame that people who voted for him are losing their jobs. I feel sorry for the people who didn't vote for him and are losing their jobs. But if you voted for him, you have no one to blame but yourself, because you're told it would happen. Yeah. Somebody saying that billionaire blackout February 28th. Okay. Somebody saying that no, we should have all been mad. We had bigotry and racism on the campaign trail, but we thought it was cool. It wasn't about us. Surprise, surprise. I think he's trying to say that there were signs before all this happened. And then all that happened after the sign was given. Right. Somebody's also saying that doesn't matter how good your performance may be, they don't give a flying FK. They are the ones you voted for. You have no right to even cry. People voted against those people who are still suffering because of your STUPDITY. You are warned about Project 2025 and it's happening. I really don't know the real definition of what's really happening, but yeah, it happened. I don't know if this is the true definition of Project 2025, because honestly I don't know its characteristics. If this is one of them, people are devastated, people are crying, people have lost hope. Somebody's saying that as a black woman, I definitely know how to apply the pressure to make people uncomfortable. They got uncomfortable bigly as about. Somebody's also saying that they try to blame the regular citizens who have little help for the government overspending, when the reality is all the money they give to the millionaires in taxes, in tax cuts. What's really happening in the United States is that they have a group of oligarchs who are taking your money. And they're taking your money because the person that you voted is acting as their gatekeeper. And they use them to give all these resources. They are benefiting. They are getting their money. Once you think about it, the United States has already fallen. And it will fall with all the people. Whether you are the driver or whether you just boarded the ship, it will fall with you. Because you're the ones who are fueling. You're paying the taxes. You're doing all these things. I'm not saying that you don't pay your tax, but it's doing the wrong thing. What is the United States doing when funding other countries to keep instability in those places? All you see are food stamps being cut. It's really crazy. Why are these people taking all this money? I don't know. Somebody's saying that nobody gets $4,000 in SNAP benefit? Nobody. The average for individual is 182 bucks, and the average person household is 343 bucks. She's rage baiting or trolling, and we shouldn't give her views. Maybe or maybe not, but I think that's a take, and everyone's take is valid, right? So you can come and try to counter it. It's still okay. Somebody's saying that I'm not a fan of Felon. Didn't like him when he came on the political scene in 2015. However, he has not really changed. It was bad for the get-go. People need FAFO need to come clean and admit they did not vote for Harris because they are bigots. These are Presenter Agent Stories. Tell me what you think about this video.